What's up, everybody? So I'm here in Germany, and I bet people are wondering kind of what's going on, and I thought one of the most fun ways to let people know what's going on, what's new here, and give everybody an idea of differences here in Germany. I'd make a short little video and try and explain some of them. So the first, pretty obvious, we're in Germany and everyone speaks German. Sometimes things get lost in translation, and so I decided to come up with a few different English to German translations that are quite funny when you just literally translate word for word what they're saying. So the first is Brustwase. I'm probably saying that wrong, but Brustwase means breast wart, and English translation is nipple. So if you're looking to say nipple in German for whatever reason, I don't want to know, Brustwase, breast wart. The next one is actually something that I've had to use a couple times, and I just thought it was hilarious when I first heard. Obviously with Corona and all that's going on, everybody's wearing gloves. In German, you don't say gloves, you say Handschuhe. Handschuhe translates more literally to hand shoes. Here, I have my gloves, I'm safe for Corona. Another body part that's quite funny literal translation is your gums. In German, they're your teeth meat, or Zähnefleisch. Funny, I mean, it makes sense, it's very literal. And for the last one, a little non-PG, but they have a word here for people who relieve themselves outside or go to the bathroom outside. The word is Wildpinkler. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but a more literal translation into English would be a wild peer. Okay, I think that's enough translations. I'm sure I'll do more on these translations and my learning of German, but for now we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing on the list here is actually windows. Windows in Germany are a little bit different. People don't really have screens here to keep insects out. However, the windows open in multiple ways. It's not just a sliding window. You can't just take the window and pull it up, have a screen, get fresh air. Instead, you have two options. You can turn this handle here, either halfway. When you turn it halfway, it swings wide open. Or all the way up. When you swing it all the way up, you can actually tilt the window open, let in a little bit of fresh air, but still not have the window all the way open. Okay, the next portion here is actually in the bedroom. It's not anything weird, but you guys have to give me a second to clean up this mess. I've never been the type of person to make the bed in the morning, and I don't think Juliana is either. Shh, don't tell her I said. Okay, so maybe you guys can see and guess what's different here. But if you can't see it, what's actually different here in Germany is that instead of using a single bed sheet or bed cover, duvet, I don't know the actual term, they use two. And I have no idea why. My hypothesis is that people maybe are happier when they have their own covers and they don't have to fight over them all night. Could be something else entirely, but here I'll show you again. There's actually two separate duvets here, bed covers, one for Juliana and one for me, nice and flowery, just the way I like them. And then another thing that's abnormal is I actually have another sheet under here, but in Germany they don't usually use undersheet. They just wash these covers, and of course you can unzip these and wash them. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the weather here in Germany, and I could be mistaken and be the only person that thinks this from the US, but my general perception was that Germany was cold before I visited the first time. However, because of the jet stream, it's actually not very moderate, and that's why you see such beautiful gardens here, all kinds of greenery. They do get clouds. As you can see, always clouds everywhere. However, in general, it's quite nice. So the weather's actually also very conducive for growing things, and this region of Germany happens to be one of the largest wine regions in all of Europe, and as Juliana and her family would tell you, it's some of the best wine in all of Germany, if not the world. Another couple fun tidbits are that geographically, Germany is about the same height laterally as France, and most people I think of France as a warmer vacation type destination. And of course, Germany does have the northern portion up on the sea that does get much colder. However, the central portion of Germany is quite moderate, quite warm, and a perfect destination. Okay, so the last thing that I was trying to say before my battery ran out and before it started raining here is that winters in Germany are actually a lot more moderate than people think. Of course, in the north and in the mountains they do get snow, and in the central portion of Germany you occasionally get snow, but it's usually not more than maybe an inch. They definitely don't get massive snowstorms like I'm used to in Maine. As a matter of fact, when Juliana was visiting one of the first times, it was right in the middle of winter in January, and we got, I think, close to 2 feet in a storm, and she was so unbelievably impressed by all the snow that she followed me right out in the morning and started to help me shovel out my car. Even though I told her, you can just relax and stay in bed, she was like, nope, I want to see all the snow, and came right out. So that's it for the weather. On to the last. Okay, now for the last piece of information here. Bread is hugely important in Germany. It can even be a source of pride for local areas, but they make all sorts of good treats here. Of course, everyone knows the Bavarian pretzel. We call it a pretzel in the US, but it's spelled bretzel with a B here. There's all kinds of bakeries around, and we get all kinds of good treats like these. A little bit of cheese, meat, some veggies, and all on top of a piece of bread. Brot, or bread, was actually the first word that I learned on Duolingo. Duolingo is an awesome app if you're trying to learn another language. It's free and it's pretty easy to use and quite fun actually, so I recommend that to anybody who's looking to pick up German or some other language. Wine is another huge thing, as I mentioned before. Wine specifically in this region around Worms, where Juliana and her family are from, is very popular, and it was brought up by the Romans. Then, of course, there's lots of pig meat, Schwein. I believe that there's more pig meat here because of the vast amount of space that's required for cattle farming, as opposed to in the US where we have a little bit more space. And lastly, asparagus. Asparagus, I'm actually not sure of this, and so excuse my ignorance again, but normally I'm accustomed to green asparagus in the US, and here they actually kind of prefer the white asparagus. It's the same plant, however, when the asparagus is growing, they actually recover the asparagus in dirt, and it keeps it from the sunlight, but it makes the asparagus much wider and tastes a little different, not so strong. So those are the big differences that I've seen in German culture so far. Of course, please don't take any of these as granted. Take it with a grain of salt, because I've only been in Germany for a short period of time. I don't really know what all the true differences are, but I just wanted to make a fun video and have some fun with everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.